In our 21 Days of Wellness Chats, we are here with Bob Wilkie to talk about youth and wellness. With school closures and major changes in routines, we're seeing a decline in the mental and physical health of our youth. And with that, Bob, I would like to ask you, with 85% of our youth facing anxiety today, what are some ways you can suggest to help them get better?
Thanks, Anshu. Really happy to be here. There's a bunch of different things that we can start with. I think first and foremost is really educating the young people on what is going on. One of the things we find is it's a very foreign feeling. It's something that can be very new to them, so they don't know how to explain it. They can't communicate, and it just feels really bad. And so, being able to educate them, some articles on the web, some videos that you can find where people are describing it. There's more and more, celebrities out there that are willing to kind of share their stories. It's great to be able to sit down and just go through some of the things that you can find that educates them. And one of the most powerful things that we found really helps, especially for a parent or a coach, somebody that's close to the young person, is to be able to share their experiences of times that they've gone through it. Really describing the scenario. Well, this is what happened, and this is how old I was, and this is what was going on in my life, and then these things I started to feel, and it started to make me act exactly like you're kind of describing, and I just never learned about it. And it happened again, and it happened again. It wasn't until I learned that I really started to be able to deal with it. It's something that's normal. It happens to everybody. And by gaining a new skill set and learning and understanding what causes you to feel that way, well, then we can start to manage it. And I think those are some very important things that everybody out there needs to know right now, is that we can overcome what we're feeling. It's just we've never dealt with it. And sweeping it under the rug and hoping it's going to go away never, ever solves the problem when we're talking about stress, anxiety, or depression.
You're right. So I heard that you talked about communication. It's important to be able to communicate how you're feeling. What are some other things kids can do to stay mentally and physically healthy during these times?
It's been really a challenge to try and figure out what we could do, because so many things have been taken away. Their social getting together was the biggest thing. Going back to school was huge. Some sports were starting again. It was fantastic, but now all of a sudden all that's been pulled away. So, in working with the young athletes, what we found is, doing some things that they can do in their house. So going in the backyard, shooting some pucks, going for runs, taking the dog for more walks, anything physical to get yourself up and moving is going to make you feel better. Even if it's a 5-minute walk to the mailbox and back, or just once around the block, something to get some fresh air, kind of get the heartbeat moving, is going to be huge. The other one that's been really interesting, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to debate this, but what we're finding is helping them stay connected and feel better is getting together with their friends online and doing some gaming. Whether it's a NHL tournament, we've actually had teams that have gotten together because they can't be together physically, and they're playing round robin tournaments. So, everybody still has that social interaction where we're communicating. We don't have the vibe of being in the room, but we absolutely have that connection. And it's really forcing them to learn how to talk and communicate, which is something that, they typically don't do because they're texting and doing all this stuff. Well, now when they're on the screen, they're actually learning how to communicate. So it's been a little bit of a benefit too.
You're right. I agree. And I think that focusing on doing the small things, you talked about like going out for a walk, going to the mailbox, focusing on the small things, I think is really important, and not making or waiting for something big to happen, or for the indoor soccer grounds to open, or whatever it may be, so you can go in and participate. I think it's pulling back and seeing things of what we are able to do truly in our house to start feeling better. And also, from a mental health standpoint, you said that, so maybe connecting with their friends and gaming may be good for them because they're talking. What other suggestions do you have? And I know with your I Got Mine program, you're doing amazing things for kids. What other suggestions would you have for our youths out there?
Yeah, again, because we are so limited right now, getting together in Zoom, or whatever platform they're using, and having different conversations. How are you feeling right now? if it's a team, if it's families, if it's groups that would normally be together, they can't. What we've really found is pulling them together and being able to have those conversations where a coach would lead it and say, listen, I'm stressed. I don't know how my job is going to be moving forward. I'm kind of struggling a little bit. Here's what I'm doing to manage myself. Okay, Billy, now how are you dealing with it? So everybody gets a chance. And what we've really found is because everybody's going through it, it almost takes that weight off and normalizes it, because what happens when we're in that stress and anxiety is we can feel like we're the only one suffering. And when we realize that everybody's feeling that way, it almost makes us, connected through our pain a little bit.
Yes, I love that. Being able to normalize it through communication, because yes, we all know our children are stuck to their electronic devices, and it's very hard to get them to communicate. They'd rather text you and communicate with you via text than actually using words. So I think that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Bob, for taking time out of your busy day and being able to join us on our Wellness Chats. Thank you to all our viewers for tuning in to our Wellness Chats, and stay tuned for more episodes. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.